Now we jump to our other big story. The Trump administration now vowing to appeal after a federal judge threw out the criminal case against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. In twin rulings, the judge found prosecutor Halligan was unlawfully appointed, writing, quote, "All actions flowing from Ms. Halligan's defective appointment constitute unlawful exercise of executive power and must be set aside." Now, the dismissals are a significant win for Comey and James, who both argued their cases were vindictive prosecutions of President Trump's political rivals. In a statement, an attorney for James said, quote, "This case was not about justice or the law. It was about targeting Attorney General James." Meanwhile, Comey celebrated the ruling in this video.
I'm grateful that the court ended the case against me, which was a prosecution based on malevolence and incompetence. I know that Donald Trump will probably come after me again, and my attitude is going to be the same. I'm innocent. I am not afraid.
CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand joins us from the White House with more on this. Good morning, Natalie. This is not the ruling the administration wants, so what type of reaction are we seeing there?
Yeah, good morning, Errol. The administration is standing by Halligan, arguing that she was legally appointed, they say, and also indicating they will pursue all and any legal actions to challenge the decision yesterday. Recall that Halligan was appointed, took over as the interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia in late September. And shortly after that, she secured these indictments for Comey and James. The judge in the decision yesterday noting that she was the only one to present the case to the grand jury and sign these indictments. Now, Attorney General Pam Bondi also had appointed her as a special attorney so she could participate in legal proceedings in court. AG Bondi, reacting to this news yesterday, spoke to reporters about next steps. And White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, also speaking to reporters, was asked about the president's reaction. Take a listen.
His reaction was, we've seen this before. We've seen partisan judges take unprecedented steps to try to intervene in accountability before, but we're not going to give up.
We'll be taking all available legal action, including an immediate appeal, to hold Letitia James and James Comey accountable for their unlawful conduct. Halligan is an excellent U.S. attorney, and shame on them for not wanting her in office.
Now, Bondi said she's going to keep going when asked about this case. And Karoline Leavitt noted that President Trump wants to see accountability. Errol.
All right, Natalie Brand, thank you very much. CBS News legal contributor Rebecca Roiphe is here with me in studio to give a bit of analysis on what we've just witnessed. Rebecca, this is a stunning rebuke. Good morning. Welcome. On what grounds can the White House appeal this ruling? The judge seemed clear.
He did, but this is a legal ruling, so an appellate court could revisit the conclusion he had about the appropriateness of the appointment of Halligan.
And the judge pointed to a specific window in which the administration could fill a vacant appointment and said this was outside of that. The Attorney General wasn't valid in appointing Halligan. So how could these charges be brought back for both James and Comey?
Yeah, so first of all, it sounds as if this is sort of dismissing the indictment on a technicality, but it really is not a technicality because all those laws and the constitutional requirement are really about ensuring that there's a qualified U.S. attorney in place who is not only competent, but also adheres to the ethics of prosecutors to make sure that those prosecutions are fair. So, and as to your point, they did dismiss the indictment, but they did it without prejudice, which means that the prosecutor can bring another case. But of course, there's a complication here, which is that every criminal case has a statute of limitations, and James Comey's has run at this point. So it may be difficult for them to bring these charges again.
So this is not a ruling on the face of the charges. It's more the prosecutor who brought the charges. The defense from both Comey and James was that this was a vindictive prosecution. So does that become a moot point at this stage, or might that be revived if the charges come back?
Absolutely, that could be revived if the charges come back, if the appeal is successful, or if for some reason they find a way to toll that statute of limitations. But again, that charge is somewhat similar to this one because essentially what it's saying is that this is a prosecution brought by somebody who's a political appointee rather than somebody who's qualified, who is who is committed to the notion of impartial justice. And so if she is not qualified, then there could be, or she's requalified or the indictment comes back, there could be a new argument that the purpose of the indictment, the motive of the indictment was vindictive. They singled out certain people because of their political beliefs.
And those are some of the specifics, but what about the big picture here, the political kind of overview? Just in our last few seconds, has this damaged the administration's credibility in bringing forward charges like this?
Well, you know, I do think it has in certain respects. I mean, at least with regard to the different offices that we're looking to see whether or not these U.S. attorneys are qualified, because qualifications are not just about competence. They're about the very fundamental principle of the rule of law, which is that all people are treated equally, and we don't single out certain people because we dislike those people or we disagree with their political beliefs.
All right, Rebecca Royford, great to have you here on this, and we'll discuss this more this hour. Thank you very much.